Hey guys, Ooh, I am bringing out the Palo Santo today, you guys, to just get us kicked off in this energy. We have Mercury going retrograde today. This is likely to be bringing us through a period of time that really may be testing us, bringing up some past temptations and some things that we maybe have been really working to detach ourselves from. We want to be very careful in the energy today and over the course of this next couple weeks that we are not falling prey to past temptations and allowing our ego to sort of get the better of us. This energy is really going to be working today and throughout this retrograde process to show us imbalances in our relationships to ourselves, and in the way that we interact and relate to other people in our lives, because this is a period right now which is all about helping to bring to the end a cycle that is not filling us up, that is not fulfilling us, so that we can move forward, reevaluate, rediscover what it is that we do truly want, so that going forward after this Mercury retrograde process, we are in a much greater state of clarity in terms of what we want, what we value, what we prioritize, and how we wish to relate to others going forward. So we've got a lot to talk about today in our Mercury retrograde chart, you guys. Let's get into the chart. Let's talk about what's happening and see how this may be affecting us on the ground today and moving throughout the course of this Mercury retrograde process. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Friday, September 9th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, I'm also going to be doing some tarot cards that came out in correspondence with the energy today, just so that we can tap the field from more than one modality to get a better overall read. But as always, we are starting with the astrology. And you guys, I keep feeling like I need to just like light this Palo Santo today, because we have astrology to talk about, yes, but there's also numerology that's coming through. We had a very interesting tarot message. This Mercury retrograde period, I feel like, is a little bit special, and I feel like a lot is going to be changing for us over the course of this period of time. First of all, if we look at the date today for Mercury stationing retrograde in the sky, it's September 9th, 2022, which would be 9922. So we have sequences of numbers going on in the numerology. Another thing that's interesting about the numerology today is Mercury stationing retrograde. This is actually putting 7 planets retrograde in their motion in the sky right now. We have Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, Chiron, and now Mercury. 7 planets in the sky. 7 is also the number associated with the sign of Libra. It also rules relationships and finances. So aside from the fact that Mercury is going retrograde in the sign of Libra, Mercury being the 7th planet to be going retrograde is also, to me, talking about this emphasis on the Libra vibes, the 7th house areas of life. This is going to be a very relationship oriented period of time, I feel like, over this Mercury retrograde. Now, it's also interesting on the numerological level, numerological, I did say that correctly, because Mercury is going retrograde at 9 degrees of the sign of Libra. So the 7th sign, Mercury's at 9 degrees. Well, actually, you guys, technically Mercury's at 8 degrees and something minutes, but you guys know that I read the Sabian symbols, and when we read the Sabian symbols, we round up a degree because we read the energy that is incoming, that is manifesting, that is really like prominent, and not the energy that is dissipating and that is falling away, because energy moves in waves. So we read the energy that's pulling in. So whenever there's a degree that is active, me personally reading the Sabian symbols, I round up a degree. And so that brings Mercury's placement for this stationing today, where Mercury is stationing retrograde at 9 degrees of Libra. And that gives us that third 9 in the 7th sign. So I'm seeing 999 in the numerology of the date, September 9th, Mercury at 9 degrees of Libra, the 7th planet to go retrograde in the sign of Libra, right? Ruling relationships and being the 7th sign of the zodiac. So for me, like on its face value, from a numerological level, before we even get into the astrology and the transits and what it all means and what else is playing out alongside of it, there is an emphasis going on the theme of 999, which has to do with culmination, completion, coming to the end of something that is no longer fulfilling us, okay? And we're talking about sevens. the seventh sign of the zodiac, the seventh planet going retrograde, the sign of relationships and finances, but partnerships just generally. And we're also talking about, Venus. Venus also rules the sign of Taurus, where Uranus and the North Node are right now. Faded, major radical shifts going on in relationships, but this is all because there is honestly a galactic and universal push right now, you guys, for us to figure out and rediscover what it is that sets our heart and soul on fire, like what our passion is, like what makes us feel alive, what we really desire, what we really value, like what truly brings us pleasure, like what we really want to spend our money on, what a state of material abundance really means for us, and where we may have gotten off track anywhere along the course of our lives in the pursuit of somebody else's definition of these things, or what society told us the definition of these things were, or what our family or our community or our networks and our friend groups and our social circles. This is a radical return to authentic truth. And in this case, it's authentic truth of our heart and what our heart really wants to feel fulfilled and to make our life feel like it has purpose and like it has meaning, and we unlocking this ability, this creative energy within us as well. Venus is also a very creative energy. It's the energy of being able to conceive things, and it's very, very fertile. And so it's trying to really unlock this fertility within us, and also just this divine feminine energy as well, ability to receive, whether you're masculine or feminine in terms of your actual gender. We all contain both of these polarities of energy. And that is what is awakening over the course of this retrograde period. And we will talk more about how the aspects are playing into this as well, because it's very, very much also being referenced and emphasized by other transits that are playing out alongside of this Mercury retrograde. But even from the most basic, fundamental, numerologic, symbolic level, today we are talking about culmination, completion, letting go of unfulfilling pursuits in order to prepare us for a new phase of life that is in alignment with what really feeds our soul. Now, I will tell you guys just a little preview of what's coming later in this report. When Mercury goes direct, on October 2nd, 2022, we're going to be in 222 energy that day. So we're going from Mercury stationing retrograde in 999 energy, which again is culmination, completion, and letting go of unfulfilling pursuits. And this cycle is taking us to a 222 day, and it's a 10-222 day, which is endings and beginnings. This is the beginning. This is a fresh start. 10 is the number that encompasses both the finale and also the rebirth. It's the 10, right? But it also is the 1. It also compresses down into a 1. And so this whole cycle is taking us on this journey back to what this 222 year that we're in right now is really representing, which is trying to bring us to a place of genuine harmonization within ourselves and within the divine masculine and divine feminine within us. And rediscovering, this retrograde process is telling us what it is that we truly love, what it is that we truly value, and what it is that we truly want to attract and magnetize in our lives. Because 222, this is a number about soul fulfillment. This is a number about divine unions, soulmate connections, true harmony, and what really, really fills our cup up on that deep, deep soul level. And that is what this very rare numerological 222 year has been trying to do for us. And I feel in the context of this entire year, as we've been following this astrology, every day, you guys, and those of you who have been with me for a while, this may be one of the more significant times this year that is really acting as, a catalyst or a driving force propelling us into this 222 energy, because that's what this is leading. We're going from the 999, the completion, the culmination, going through this retrograde period, which is all about reevaluation, reconsideration in the 7th house, in the sign of Libra, in terms of our relationships, our partnerships, our financial arrangements, what we want, what we value, what we prioritize, how we relate, how we socialize, and what we desire in terms of our relationships and our social connections. That is what we are going to be reevaluating, rediscovering, rediscovering in alignment, you guys, with what it is that really like our heart makes our heart sing, like what our heart like really calls for. Remember, this is following right on the heels of some very, very inspired energy that was really trying to show us our passions, unlock our passions, and really light a fire in sort of like our mind and our soul, coming out of a grand trine in air signs with Mars, Mercury, and the moon, moving into this Mercury retrograde energy that we have going on today. Definite highlight on relationships and, like I said, endings and beginnings, coming to the realization that it's time to move on from something, that something has served its purpose, that something is no longer our wish fulfillment, letting that go, walking away from that so that we can embrace what truly is. However, I will say, like I was saying in the beginning, there is definitely a dimension of this energy that may really be testing us, because what it's trying to do, it's really trying to show us where we have ego attachments, where our ego is standing in the way or blocking us from actually getting what we want, where, we can't our ego, like our pride or our like inability to accept some type of humility or something, like some image that we have to present, some projection that we feel that we need to maintain, like some presentation, just like our ego like standing in the way of what we are beginning to realize it is that we really need and that really truly makes us happy. Like that's one of the main things that I feel like this energy is going to be showing us. And it's going to be showing us that through issues that may be coming up in our current relationships that we formed as a result of these ego attachments. And this is because for our Mercury retrograde today, in the sign of Libra, in the 7th house, in this 999 energy, we also have the moon in the sign of Pisces, okay? And the moon in the sign of Pisces is going to be forming an opposition to Venus in the sign of Virgo in Mercury's sign. Remember, Venus and Mercury are also in mutual reception. That's another dimension of this, which is like really driving home the point that this is about reevaluating what we truly want and desire in relationships. With Venus and Mercury in mutual reception, Mercury in the sign of Venus, Venus in the sign of Mercury, this energy is blended. Mercury going retrograde, Venus ruling relationships, Venus ruling the heart, Venus ruling what we're spending our money on, Venus brings us pleasure, Mercury our mind, what we're thinking about. We are going to be reconsidering what we want. It's literally all over this chart in so many different ways. It's like universe is really just like driving this one into the ground. And like I was saying, a dimension of this is going to be needing to recognize where our ego is interfering with us getting what we want, where our ego is getting us into relationship situations or partnership situations or dynamics that are not actually in alignment with what we really want, because it's a false self, it's a false presentation. It's where we are acting a role or playing a part or, presenting like a version of ourselves that's in alignment with our ego, but may not truly be in alignment with the conscious awakening that we are coming to now. Realize like this is happening in the context of a very powerful, though subtle conscious awakening that is just going on throughout the collective of humanity as we are transitioning ages into the age of Aquarius, and the planet Uranus is so in effect right now. The Aquarian energy is being so stimulated across the cosmos. But that's really the thing, like that is why these conflicts and stuff, these ego issues, like what we're dealing with, like may be surfacing. It's to really show us where we are denying the authentic truth that we are realizing now, and like prioritizing our ego over that, and how that is interfering with our ability to like really be happy. And this is because also, aside from the moon forming an opposition to Venus in the sign of Virgo, the moon is also going to be forming a square to Mars currently in the sign of Gemini. And that is another, if you guys watched my September overview, that is another major aspect of the energy unfolding throughout the course of September, is a Venus-Mars square in mutable signs. And this is sort of starting now and is going to be building throughout our entire Mercury retrograde process. And Venus and Mars in square, this is the masculine and the feminine in a disagreement, in a conflict, like not meeting eye to eye. Like this is also, you guys, Mars, the ego, and Venus, what we desire, not on the same page, okay? And with the moon there as well, forming this T-square opposing Venus and squaring Mars, this is a like internalized reflection upon what we want and how it is being disrupted or interfered with by our ego, Mars and Gemini also, and what we're saying or how we're acting or how we're behaving, okay? So over the course of this Mercury retrograde period, energy showing us something about our relationships and our attitudes toward them. And before I continue, I should just make a basic disclaimer. Mercury retrograde, you guys, this is generally not a good time to make like big purchases, not a good time to get into new relationships. We want to like double, triple check our communications. There's a much greater likelihood for misinterpretation, misunderstanding, miscommunication. We really want to practice some active listening during this period of time. Be careful when we're driving, double check directions and stuff. There may be some interference going on with our ability to sort of like commute or travel back and forth in one way or another. Of course, technology has a tendency of sometimes acting up during Mercury retrograde. It's not a good time, like I said, to invest in new like equipment and stuff during Mercury retrograde, especially if it's like technological in any type of way or used for communication in any type of way, because when Mercury goes retrograde again, there's often a tendency that it can malfunction and not work. This is just, and I will say, you guys, like especially in the context of this particular Mercury retrograde energy, you guys, please do not get into relationships. Please do not make any big commitments at this period of time. Please do not like go like buy a house or this is not a good time for like to get married. Like this is just really not a good time, especially to start any type of new relationship though. It just is not looking great. Like if there is something like on the table, okay, like if there is someone that comes into your life at this period of time, if there is even somebody that comes back into your life at this period of time, like it really, if it's real, if the feelings are real, like if it's a real thing, it's not too much to ask yourself, to ask universe, to ask the other person to sort of just wait it out. Just wait it out through October 2nd. Like just cool it, give yourself a period of time to really think and consider. Don't jump in. At least leave the options open, leave the doors open, like make it, a lighter, more adaptable scenario, and just, kind of like refrain from any type of really, really like jumping in hardcore or serious commitment, because if you do that, you're likely to come to find, in the future that is not actually what you wanted, and you wish that you would have made a different choice, and, having to go through this whole karmic process as a result of that, when we can really just sort of practice some self-discipline, we don't want to give into temptation in this energy. That's another thing that is coming through for me symbolically, and, came through in the tarot as well, which we'll talk about. There is an energy of like testing us, testing our resolve, testing our ability to sort of not engage in things, not fall for things, not fall victim to things, not like allow ourselves generally to be seduced or to be tempted into things. Like this is kind of coming through as sort of something that we need to watch for over the course of this period of time, because it could really ultimately sabotage our progress in terms of us figuring out what it is we truly want and moving forward in that direction. And it could just really like pull us back into these karmic loops. Like that's really something that we need to watch for in this energy. But it is going to be with Venus and Mars in the square, and also the moon in the T-square as well, exposing hidden tensions in relationships and testing relationships to see, as I was saying, what ego tensions are built into them. This to me is like taking the temperature sort of in our relationships. I feel like is something that, we may be experiencing today in the energy for sure, and also moving forward in this Mercury retrograde energy, just really, giving us a check, like, and that's what this is all about too, reevaluating if this is really what I want, especially in regards to relationships, and starting a process of realizing or ending what is not fulfilling us, being represented by these nines that I see coming through in the numerology in this chart today, with the moon there reflecting on where our own ego attachments, moon square Mars, are getting in the way of what we truly want. Like it couldn't be more clear, you guys. Venus and Mercury in mutual reception, Mercury stationing retrograde, the moon in Pisces, opposing Venus, squaring Mars. Where is our ego getting in the way of what we want? Where is our pride getting in the way of what we want? Where is our need to project some type of image getting in the way of what we really want? Like, this is what life, universe, God is going to probably make known to us throughout this period of time. And like I said, do not start relationships or make commitments today. And like, I really think it would probably be best to wait until Mercury goes direct on October 2nd. Like I said, October 2nd will be a 222 day, which is bringing in this energy of divine union and fulfillment and purpose and us knowing what it is we want and being able to actually magnetize, attract, and receive that, having gone through this Mercury retrograde period, which is very, very, very much about coming to those conclusions based on a reevaluation and an ending of something in one way or another. Ending, beginning, manifestation energy coming through at 10-222. So, and this will also be happening during our Libra cycle, our Libra new moon cycle, you guys. And if you've been following my work, what I've been saying is that what we have been realizing, what this Mercury retrograde energy is representing, is us coming to these understandings, coming to these greater realizations about ourselves. And then for the Libra cycle, which is the cycle that is ruling relationships and partnerships and finances, we will be clear and we will know how to move forward. This is a cardinal cycle. The Libra cycle is an action-oriented cycle. This is when we act, okay? This is when we take everything that we have discovered, rediscovered, figured out, and actually make the choice, make the decision, take the action coming in the Libra cycle. And I think that we should wait until at least October 2nd to go ahead and, really commit or engage or just make it happen in one way or another. The energy will be much, much more supported at that period of time. But I just find it so ironic that we are going retrograde in all of this 7th house Libra energy, Venus and Mercury in mutual reception on a 999 culmination, completion, figuring out what really fulfills us, moving towards this 222 day, which is about the recognition and the alignment with that which really fulfills us, letting go of what's not fulfilling so that we can receive what is. That's what this whole retrograde energy is really boiling down to for me on a like individual level. Of course, right now we are talking about the energy in the context of our personal lives, in the context of the macrocosm. In the context of the microcosm, on the macrocosm, this is likely to be having a lot of big effects as well. There could definitely be some financial conflicts that are going on. There could be some economic resource-based issues that are going on in this energy for sure. There could be supply chain issues again. There could be like issues with business transactions and stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of ways that this could be playing out on the world stage. Issues with travel as well. And definitely finding out like a lot of information that has perhaps been like hidden. It's the same thing though, to like help us figure out what we really want. There's also a lot of problem solving energy that's going to be coming in throughout the course of this Mercury retrograde in terms of like the macrocosm as well, in terms of like us figuring things out, finding solutions, seeing what's really been going on behind the scenes and stuff like that. But, bringing it back down to our personal lives and the personal world, like people and things specifically in relationships may just definitely be testing us today, maybe tempting us today. Perhaps some of the more, like I said, the more toxic attachments from the past may be sort of tempting us or seducing us or beckoning us back in some type of way. But we really need to be kind of committed and dedicated to our resolve and our progress and our value at this point in time as well. With all of this Libra 7th house energy, value is a major keyword in terms of, what we value, how valuable we perceive ourselves to be, and therefore what we desire, what we want. Like in that context and in that regard, the theme of value is likely to be very, very significant, and reprioritizing values and revaluing things likely to be very significant over this Mercury retrograde period. This is also energy to me where it's sort of like, people provoking us maybe in one type of way to like see how much we truly care, to like see how much we truly love. Like that is also kind of like this energy, like people testing us, like in relationships, like people doing things to like get a reaction, to like see how much we really care about them, or prove how much we really love them. Like that may be like behavior that is manifesting in this moon Venus Mars energy today, with Mercury going retrograde in Venus's signs. We also, with the moon in Pisces, may be running away from or avoiding or like trying to escape obvious imbalances within our lives and relationships today. But in this Mercury energy, there is no escape, you guys. It's best that we just sort of call it what it is and accept it for what it is and surrender to the process and face it head on, because we're not going to get away from it. Universe is calling us all into our highest potential, activating destiny. We can't get there if we don't recognize the authentic truth of who we are and what we love and what inspires us and what gives us passion and what fills us up and allows us to thrive, so that we can create and activate our destiny and fulfill our purpose and do this whole universe game plan thing in our transition into the age of Aquarius. We're not getting off the hook with this. So we can't hide from it. We can't run from it. We're better off just to face the difficult scenarios and not do the Pisces thing of acting like everything's fine and just not seeing the elephant in the room. We really need to address these issues right now, or else they're going to be addressed for us in one way or another. But definitely, could be bringing up these imbalances that are just creating conflict within us, creating conflict in our relationships, maybe making us feel a little uncomfortable, like we just want to sort of escape and avoid from things, but just not the best way to handle this energy. And this is coming down to this fundamental question, like I said, how is our own ego blocking us from receiving what we truly desire in our heart? That is what, to me, the way that this energy, the way that these numbers, the way that this, like the tarot that I'll get into in a little bit, is coming out, that's just what it's boiling down to. This is what we will be reevaluating and rediscovering over the course of this Mercury retrograde period. What have we been attached to that has been keeping us blind to our own truth, to our own value? The value aspect of it is everything. The value, the potential, the resources, the talents, the gifts that we hold within us, seeing them from a new light. And really, because we're recognizing this, like no longer surrendering our power in the way that we did before, no longer needing that external validation, which is really like sort of the root of all evil in a lot of things. Because if we need some type of external validation, or if we're, attached to the ideas and the opinions and the judgments and stuff of other people, we're willing to sacrifice a lot of our own personal integrity within ourselves a lot of times in order to appease the group or to stay in good graces. And when we are not so attached to validation, acceptance from, others, especially if it's causing us to distort our own energy, like this is tremendously empowering and really, reinforces actually the value that we hold inside of us. It's like the more we do it, the more we realize that we're worthy of that, and that even just like accentuates the this energy that we're discovering within us even more. So, this is really a period of time where we are looking within, where we are allowing our own potential, our own gifts, our own beauty that we hold within us to rise to the surface, and we are embracing that. Like we're no longer in an energy where we need to like cast that out or ignore it so that we don't like ruffle other people's feathers or make other people feel bad. This is a time about becoming the best version of ourselves that we can truly be, developing into our full potential, activating our destiny so that we can then serve our little piece of the puzzle, our light inside of us, to the overall whole. And as a result of that, be in this place 222 energy. So much greater fulfillment, so much greater internal harmony. We can attract and magnetize to our lives that which is a reflection of that divine counterparts, soulmates, soul fulfillment, life purpose, and just really feeling like we are creating our own personal golden age. And that is ultimately how the age of Aquarius comes into being. It's one by one by one. We go through this conscious awakening, we activate our potential, we rise into our truth, we come into a place of self-mastery, we learn how to co-create with God and universe according to the laws in this reality, and then we share that with others. And as a result of that, we experience this fulfillment in terms of the relationship dynamics inside of us and in our lives and the circumstances and the situations. And that is our golden age. And then as each of us do that, it just becomes the overall paradigm that we are creating and that we are living in. And this is what is happening right now. And in order to get there, though, some major breakdowns. This is a 2,000-year process, you guys. This is not happening overnight. We are just dipping a toe into it right now. And there are some major societal changes and breakdowns and tower moments that need to happen to go from a society that is hierarchical, that is based on an overall command and a top-down approach, to a society that is based on the self-empowerment of the individual and like the ability of each individual to empower each other individual. This is a conscious awakening, you guys, and that's why it's called the Great Awakening, and that's where we're at. And there I go again, just on this whole long monologue about the age of Aquarius, but that is where this energy is leading, and that's why all of this is happening. But anyways, back to my notes for today. We how is our own ego blocking us from receiving what we truly want and desire in our heart? Because that is where we're at in this process of everything that I was just talking about. This is what we will reevaluate and discover over this Mercury retrograde period. What have we been attached to that has been keeping us blind to our own truth? Also, you guys, lots with this Mars-Venus square going on. This creates like lots and lots of sexual tension that might be in the air today. And we want to be very careful with giving into temptation. Again, like I said, especially like we want to allow our intuition to sort of guide us today. And if we're feeling tempted into something, if we're feeling seduced into something, but like we know on a gut level, like it's just not good for us, we need to have the strength today and the respect and the value for ourselves to be in a place of self-empowerment where we can do what is best for us in recognition of the truth of that value and not give into the temptation that may be karmic in nature and sort of pulling us back into past patterns as this retrograde energy is activating. We need to trust our intuition in this energy, and we really need to try to follow our intuition and our inner guidance, our inner knowledge today, and be very careful again of rash, impulsive behaviors, acts, verbalizations. We do still have Mars in a trine to Mercury for Mercury stationing retrograde, so people may really be feeling like they can't hold back today and there's no reason to, and they're just like very over the top and lacking self-discipline in a lot of ways today. We actually even have the sun and Mars today. The sun at 17 degrees of Virgo, a volcanic eruption, bringing dust clouds, flowing lava, and earth rumbling. So there's that. And then the position of Mars today, actually 12 degrees of Gemini, that Sabian symbol is a slave girl demands her rights of her mistress. So when I put this energy together, Mars and the sun, Mars in the trine to Mercury right now, Mars in the square to the moon, and Venus moving into square with Mars today, we may be feeling on one hand very, very assertive to stand up for ourselves and to speak our mind and say how we feel for sure with Mars in the square to the moon, but we want to be careful that it's not just this like explosion, this verbal like slaughter, this verbal eruption coming out of our mouth that is really just like sabotaging our progress or ultimately working against us in some type of way. We don't want to be a destructive force in our own reality with Mercury stationing retrograde today and us going back through this process. You know, if that does happen, it is letting us know, and this is, you know, we need to not be like, you know, harsh on ourselves, but this is the lesson right now. If this is happening, if we find ourselves acting in these ways or acting out these ways or not being able to control ourselves or just feeling like we're erupting or exploding over things that are happening specifically in relationships, also perhaps in regards to finances, though today, like, we need to understand that this is God, universe, spirit giving us a check, showing us the state of our own like ego, essentially. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, how is what we're forcing, who we have to be, what we have to have, like our needs being met, like how is our own personal assertion of our own energy perhaps blocking, sabotaging, destroying, just messing up what it is that we actually really truly want? How is our own attitude about stuff getting in the way of us being able to actually get what we want? And what do we need to do in order to resolve this conflict? Remember, we're also in this Virgo cycle, which is about conflict resolution. And I can tell you guys, this full moon that is coming up tomorrow, this has been a big week of astrology. We have a full moon in Pisces and Virgo coming up tomorrow. This isn't a trine to Uranus. And this is going to be actually like bringing some solutions, like putting things, like realigning things in kind of like a magical way, like things sort of falling into place in a way that is conducive to positive growth in alignment with authentic truth, though. So things are likely to clear up, and we just don't want to just be way over the top. Like we kind of want to like try and temper out our temper today with this moon squaring Mars energy, especially on the opposition to Venus. But relationship issues could definitely be taking a center stage in our life today, for sure. We also have Venus today at 6 degrees of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is a merry-go-round. So again, like Venus at this degree, Venus actually ruling the energy right now, even though we're in a Virgo season and Mercury is the ruler of our Virgo season, Mercury being in the sign of Venus, that puts Venus in charge. Although Venus and Mercury being in mutual reception, it's both of them. Venus and Mercury fused together are ruling the show right now. But Venus at 6 Virgo, like I said, a merry-go-round. This karma, you guys, that I feel like is coming back up today and maybe like testing us or pulling us back in or tempting us or seducing us in some type of way. We want to be careful with jumping back on our old bandwagon, getting back on that merry-go-round, waking up in this Groundhog's Day, giving into temptation or past attachments or mindsets we are moving away from because they don't fulfill us. And Mercury retrograde energy is notorious for people coming back from the past, you guys. So much change has gone on. We've made so much internal progress. You know, and we may need to do it. We may need to get back on that merry-go-round. We may need to chain ourselves back to that demon. We may need to, like, like over this Mercury retrograde period, it may be the final push that we need to make that final detachment. Like that also could be what this energy is about as well. Like maybe part of our process, part of our healing process, part of our awakening process is needing to be pushed down like that one last time. But it would just be probably a lot easier and a lot more pleasant experience if we could kind of just sidestep that, see it for what it is, you know, call a spade, call a demon, and keep it moving. Like kind of walk around that, past attachment, you know. We don't really need to do it, but if we do need to do it, this is probably going to be the last time, you guys. So merry-go-round with Venus today. And Mercury, though, is at 9 degrees of Libra. This is where Mercury is stationing to go direct. That Sabian symbol, and I like this, and I also like the positioning of the Earth today for this. 3 degrees of Libra, 3 old masters hanging in a special room in an art gallery. I like this symbolism because we're talking about a 3 now. To me, this is like the Holy Trinity. You know what I mean? In any way that you want to slice it, like mind, body, spirit, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, like our ego, our consciousness, our super consciousness, like our mind, our heart, and our soul, like our heart and our soul and our spirit, like any way that you want to sort of combine like the energies that really fuse us into one whole conscious being, like the lower, the mid-range, and then the upper, you know what I mean? Like this to me is the energy that is represented through the 3, specifically in this symbolism. I feel like it's talking about the Holy Trinity in one way or another, just the energetic vibrations, the Christ consciousness, I guess really is what it boils down to for me when we're talking about the Holy Trinity and the 3 aspects, like I said, like, and again, let's talk about the ego, the consciousness, and the Christ consciousness, or the super consciousness as well. Either way, I feel like it is us. I feel like this symbol for Mercury stationing retrograde is talking about, again, like this period of us reunifying, reintegrating sort of like these various layers or these various elements within ourselves, within our psyche, our own internal nature, in order to create, paint, draw, sculpt, envision the form, manifest the form of our new reality, how we want our reality to work moving into this new world. Remember, we also have Uranus, who is really like, to me, a planet that is ruling so much of what is happening right now. The Great Awakener associated, ruling the age of Aquarius and our energetic transition, our recalibration on a frequency-based level into the age of Aquarius. 19 Taurus, a new continent is rising from the ocean. This is about the emergence of a new world. And with Mercury stationing retrograde at this degree, 9 Libra, the 3 old masters hanging together in a special room of the art gallery, I feel like this is talking about some type of reintegration going on within us that is bringing us to this greater level of awareness and internal balance, again, in this Virgo cycle that is all about restoring balance to things, ultimately, that is putting us in this much more creative place where we can, again, like this Venus energy, this conception energy really begin, this fertile energy really begin to like create the new reality, create the dimensions and form and structure and like envision and like sculpt the art gallery, our new world, the Uranus at this degree, the new continent rising from the ocean. We also have the Earth today at 17 degrees of Pisces, and that Sabian symbol is an Easter promenade. So again, you know, ascension, rebirth, like that is where we are going throughout this next period of time between now and October 2nd. And you know, also as Mercury is leaving his shadow phase, but Mercury will station direct on October 2nd in this 222 energy, this 10-222 energy, this destruction and manifestation, this ending and beginning. We're going from the culmination and moving away from what is no longer fulfilling us to a day where we are cutting the cords and recreating. Ascension, rebirth, recreation of a new world, of a new version of ourselves. That's where we're going. We are recreating ourselves. We are recreating our identity, sliced away from those ego attachments that may have been preventing us from getting what it is that we truly want. What have we been attached to, or that what have we been attached to that has been keeping us blind to our own truth? How is our ego blocking us from receiving what we truly desire in our heart? So that's what all of this energy is boiling down to for me today. In our Mercury retrograde energy, in our Mercury retrograde chart, I feel like I said, like this is going to be a relatively significant period, a significant Mercury retrograde, because this whole year has been trying to do what this Mercury is, or has been indicating what this specific Mercury retrograde period is primarily working towards. So that's what we got going on, you guys, in terms of the astrology. Let's talk about the tarot for a quick minute. It was very interesting how these cards came out. They came out in a very specific order, and like a very specific placements. We got the Page of Wands coming out first, and then the Queen of Wands in reverse coming out first, and then the Queen of Wands upright landed literally like directly on top of him. So this is telling me, you guys, Page of Wands, this is sort of just like about pursuing our passions, like pursuing our desires, like being easily tempted into things. With the Page of Wands in reverse, this is saying to me that to stay in our power, to stay in our throne, to stay aligned with our value and this creative potential that we are arising at, and like what this cycle is actually bringing us towards in terms of recognizing that value, recognizing what we truly want, and you know, the power that gives us to create that. And also this black cat sitting here in this Queen of Wands card, to me this is saying we really need to trust our intuition, and we need to not allow our frivolous desires to sort of impulsively pull us into chasing something to satisfy our ego, okay? We need to stay committed to our values and our creative potential, our creative purpose, and our personal passions, and to follow our intuition at this period of time and not allow ourselves to be distracted by temptation, okay? The next series of cards that came out, and they came out all together, bang, bang, bang. We've got the Five of Wands in reverse, and then we've got the King of Wands in reverse, you guys. We've got a pair. We've got the Queen of Wands here, upright, and then we've got the King of Wands in reverse. And then we got the Eight of Pentacles. The King of Wands in reverse, you guys, this is the ego. This is demanding to have our ego needs met. And the Five of Wands in reverse, this is like not fighting against that. This sequence of cards to me is saying that this period of time, we really need to work not to overindulge our ego, because again, that is going to be pulling us out of our place of power, of our Queen of Pentacles, or of our Queen of Wands. We're talking about all Wands and Pentacles energy today, actually, you guys. We've got the Queen of Wands, the Page of Wands in reverse, and then the King and the Five of Wands also in reverse, with the Eight of Pentacles upright. Eight of Pentacles is about self-mastery. This is about doing some inner work, really working towards something. Our process of self-mastery over this retrograde period is staying in our power and not allowing ourselves to be tempted by impulsive, like just instincts or ego drives that are coming to us, okay? And then the card that we had coming out after that, all on its own, we got the Devil. And this card, we don't really get too much. And this is major arcana. Like, this is pretty powerful. And to me, this is saying karmic loops, temptations from the past, past attachments, that seduction, that temptation that is pulling us or trying to pull us over this period of time back into these past habits through over attaching to our ego. This is a period of time where we really need to be doing the work to stay in our upright, in our passion upright, to not allow like distorted or toxic temptations or seduction or people from the past that have not been good for us to pull us out of our state of self-empowerment based on these ego urges. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is exactly what the astrology is saying. Temptations from the past, from our karma, right? The karmic cycles, South Node in Scorpio, Pluto, the Devil, what we need to detach from, what we are separating ourselves from. What is toxic for us? What has been keeping us out of our state of self-empowerment? What is not good for us? Coming back up, coming back around, and creating perhaps like these ego issues going on within us, masculine and feminine, Venus square Mars, that are showing us where we are overly attaching to our ego and how that is working against us, how that is creating conflict and inner conflict in our lives and keeping us out of our state of power. We can't follow temptations in this energy, you guys. We really need to have a strong sense of self-respect for the love that we are cultivating for ourselves and the potential that we are seeing ourselves, the value that we are gaining for ourselves. And we really need to stay in that mindset of doing this inner work. And then on the back of the deck, we got the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, the 2 of Pentacles, you guys, then the 10 of Pentacles, and then the 6 of Pentacles. All Pentacles, all Wands, all Earth, all fire energy. Pentacles also remind me of Venus too, because this is money, this is value. This is also like the Taurus energy, even though we're talking more so about Libra, but this is our ability to maintain our strength in the face of temptation is going to keep us from like falling back into those cycles of lack and feeling victimized and feeling in a place of like just being cast out, like all the negative energy. If we can just stay on top of things, if we can just stay on our throne and not allow our energy to be distorted through toxic ego urges and desires and attachments that are causing this inner conflict within us, we can stay also out of a place of just getting sucked back into these negative cycles and feeling like all of the, 5 of Pentacles energy, lack of self-value, lack of self-worth, lack of being accepted, lack of like just this rejection, this victim mentality state energy. Like, this is what we are breaking through our ability to not be reabsorbed into attachments of the past. And on the other side of this 2 of Pentacles, like, this is what we're juggling. This is the choice that we're making. Which way is it going to go? Are we going to go through this karmic cycle again throughout the course of this Mercury retrograde period to come to this higher understanding? Or are we going to just sort of choose off the bat? Either way, though, it is it's trying to lead us to up this place of this 222 energy, this abundance, this fulfillment, and again, this rebalancing of the scales, this fairness, this justice. I feel like this has been the message that has just been like on repeat and on repeat and repeat. We've gotten the 6 of Pentacles so many times over the course of this past few weeks where we've been heading into this Virgo season and the September energy. Ultimately, it's all about justice, harmony, rebalancing things. It's also with the 222 energy. 222 breaks down into a 6. That's where we're going. That's what we're talking about. And isn't it interesting? We've got 10, right? And then we've got 6. 10, 2, 2, 2. Like, that's where this Mercury retrograde energy is taking us. So if we find ourselves juggling, you guys, should I get back with this person? Should I go back into this situation? Should I give it one more chance? Or should I maybe just wait it out, see what happens, follow my intuition, not jump in, not commit? This is telling us that, depending on what we choose, we may get sucked back into this devil energy. But if we're able to stay with our value, stay with the pentacles and not go with the fire, like not get sucked into the distorted ego energy, We can stay out of a state of lack. We can stay out of a victim mentality. We can stay out of the negative places that we may have been recovering from throughout the course of this year, and ultimately come to this place of rediscovering our value that is creating a much greater sense of fairness, justice, balance, reciprocity in our relationships and in our lives. Venus square Mars. That's where this is coming back to. It's all coming back to balance, but 999 energy, we are completing, we are culminating, we are moving away from that which is not fulfilling us. 10 of Pentacles energy to move towards 10-222, that which is fulfilling, that which is balanced, that which is harmonized, and that which brings us this sense of just like purpose and reciprocity and even give and take and beautiful balanced relationships in our lives. So, oh man, you guys, this has been a lot to say today. A lot of energy, all saying the same thing. Let's grab one more card now. We need a synchronicity card. God, Spirit, Universe. What is our last bit of advice? What do we need to know? What information, what advice can we keep in the back of our mind throughout Mercury retrograde to help us with this energy? And we've got one that jumped onto the floor. And you guys, we have got this one recently, and this is 999-222. Over the course of this Mercury retrograde process, we need to keep in mind obstructions removed. This is a process of removing obstructions, removing the things, ending the cycles, detaching ourselves from that which is obstructing our ability to receive what we truly want. What is blocking us from getting what we truly want? What ego issues are keeping us out of our ability to receive? Rest in me, I have gone ahead and removed every stone. God has gone before you and removed every obstacle. Any obstacle you now perceive is a product of your own imagination. Let go and let God lead you. There is no wrong action. There is only right action. Follow the leads which come to you. And that is what we will be doing once we get into this Libra cycle, and it is time to set out and take some action and make some commitments. But that is what I have to say today, you guys. A message from the stars, a message from the cards, obstructions removed. We are going to a good place. It's just the process of getting there may bring up some things that are a little bit disconcerting, a little bit uncomfortable, but if we don't feel it, if we don't feel the pain, a lot of times there's no acknowledgement of the problem. So that's what we got going on, so that we can resolve the problems in this 7th house Libra energy, Venus energy, moving towards our Libra cycle, which is also a problem solving cycle. So that's what I have to say, you guys. I hope you liked it. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you just a little bit of whatever you may be needing as you go throughout the day or this Mercury retrograde cycle generally. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would like this kind of content and be interested in this too. Leave me comments, you guys. I really appreciate your comments so much. Thank you so much for being here. I value your feedback, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. I am doing another bonus video for the weekend. Of course, we are going to be doing our full moon video tomorrow. It's a big one. It's in a trine to Uranus, loose opposition to, or conjunction opposition to Neptune. We're going to have a lot to talk about. This is a powerful full moon. Activating our transition into the age of Aquarius. Awakening's coming, you guys, and things, like I was saying earlier, should be sort of falling into place. So we're going to have full moon energy to talk about tomorrow. I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful Mercury retrograde. No commitments. And until next time, bye, guys.